Praise God, folks. This is Old Truth Speaker again. Busy day, just getting off. Coming to you with another short vid on some more troubling racist confrontation between blacks and or a black and a police officer. And the name of this is South Carolina cop body slams black girl, fired. And this is what I like to say. Now, this young 16-year-old African-American girl was in school, in her classroom. And the problem occurred that whatever causes, her teacher, an African-American male brother, asked her to leave. She did not leave. Okay? He called the principal. The principal, communicating with her, asked her to leave. Now, this is the principal of the school in Spring Valley, South Carolina. This is Richland County. After the principal spoke with her, he could not convince her to leave. Then they called in the school resource officer, Officer Ben Fields, who he's had two other charges against him of brutality, so to speak, with African Americans. One was a medic, an army medic, a black male. He was going home, and he noticed that something was going on in the front of his house, and the cop came up. To him, and to make a long story short, he said, "Dude," what? And as soon as he said "dude," the cop snatched him and picked him up and body slammed him. And matter of fact, his wife came out and tried to help, and he said, "Welcome to South Carolina," and he used the N-word, nigger. Now, this is a medic, an army medic. And then he called his wife out of her name. And I mean, there's a few charges against this guy, but now, to make matters worse, he came in and it was supposedly he'd asked her to leave. That's 3 times, 3 different people asked her to leave. So what he did next, he grabbed her before anything. This guy, and now this is disgraceful. This is the kind of contact that I'm talking about that needs to be addressed and stopped. This cop, Officer Ben Field, snatched her up, and he had his arm around her. He could have snapped that child's neck. She was only 16. Flipped the desk, grabbed her, body slammed her, and threw her across the room. Now, we were at my place of employment, and everybody, I work in an extremely large, well, that's why I could just say government installation. Anyway, everybody, all different ethnicities were saying, this is sick and appalling and disgraceful. But to make matters worse, the girl who was filming this, an 18-year-old, remember, the girl who had the altercation with the police, or the police had the altercation with her, grabbed her and body slammed her and slung her across the room. That girl was 16 years old. Now, the one who was filming this, he verbally attacked her. Do you want some of this? You want some of this? I mean, what was he looking at? Just because they were black? I mean, he was going with them. And then the sheriff at first made the comment, well, he's not racist. He's going with the black girl, a black woman. But now here is the point. White women have been going with black women all the time, when all through slavery. I mean, that does not mean anything. That means zilch. Because you're having sex with somebody or going with, really? That means less than nothing. I don't care who you're going with. This should not have happened. When we look at, and it was said on the Nancy Drew show earlier, when we look at our children or other young adults, You see them as possibility. This could have been your child. And they brought up the question, when this officer, enraged as he was, looked at that 16-year-old girl, what was he seeing? He clearly didn't see that as, hey, that could be my daughter, or niece, or little cousin. Did he just see her as just black? I mean, the question was asked, and I thought it was a very good question. But okay, now let's get back to it. As he slung her across the room, and he went to the 18-year-old girl, cut that camera off. Do you want some of this? You want some of this? And the girl, the 18-year-old girl with the camera, tried to speak up politely. She said no, and put her hands behind her back. And he arrested her, put the cuffs on her. It was disgraceful. Now she has a charge, and she didn't do anything. Now it's going viral all over the world. Let me tell you, folks, people really hate America. Our allies are walking away. This is the last thing we need. Racism at its guttermost. As we have different people here that are taking over our country. It's the black man. No, it's the white man. It's a few idiots. But I want to say something. He need to be fired. He need to get just what he... Let me tell you something. The bad make it hard for the good. All it takes is a few idiots, black and white or any other ethnic group, to make matters worse. Now, there's enough racial tension going on now. We know it's the worst now. It's worse than it's been in the 1960s, they say. Or it's as bad as it was in the 1960s. To the point where, I mean, it has been said, we've been free for 150 years, and economically speaking, we have had no help. And we're economically in the exact same position we were 150 years ago, even though African Americans have fought in every war. But that's not, I mean, this is a lot of things that are being just brought to light now. But I'd like to say one thing. Yes, and he has gotten fired. Sheriff Leon Lotz of Richland County said that they were going to make an announcement whether he was fired. He said that he had almost vomited when he seen this. This is appalling. Now, everybody all over the country and the world are commenting and I mean, really expressing their horror at the situation, which is literally appalling. But I like to say one thing, girl, you didn't do anything to cause him to react violently toward you, but you instigated this whole thing. You started that. All you had to do was get your behind up and going on out the room. Hell, all you were doing was disturbing the class anyway. That was wrong, and you escalated a problem that could have resulted in your death and could have got him killed, because now you have sickos that are going into schools and killing children who care nothing about killing cops. You were wrong. I'm talking about that black 16-year-old girl. You started this whole mess. Now they're calling everything the Ferguson effect. This is appalling. Race relations is at an all-time low. And President Obama did not do anything to make it any better. I'm going to tell you something. America, we need help. America, look, I want you to pray for this nation. Folks, we have to pray for our country and our leaders to make just and righteous law and treat everybody equal. That's what this comes from. And that problem is not going to go anywhere. All it's going to do is get worse. And you have other people that are making the situation worse. I'm going to tell you black folks something. We need to come now, God, and white folks too. But what we need to start doing is pooling our resources and keeping our money into our own community. That will stop a lot of the foolishness, relying on someone else. And as soon as something goes wrong, they're blaming the white man. But it was clearly this idiot, this little girl who escalated and started this whole problem. But that officer got just what he deserved. He got fired. He was violent. This is the story. The 18-year-old girl called him, we call him Sergeant Slam, because he is known to body slam pregnant women and teens. They were afraid of him. He's a nut job. That's what he was. But that girl, you escalated it. And you started this. Pray for our country and pray for our people and the leaders of our country, because we really need it. God bless, folks.